You may or may not have seen this story, but it's kind of blowing up into something a lot bigger than anybody thought it was. A high school wrestler, a black guy, he's got dreadlocks. He wants to get out on the mat and take care of business, but the referee comes in and says, no, you can't wear dreadlocks to this wrestling match. They made him cut his hair right before the match. Well, that has since turned into a thing, because now the thing is, this is an unbelievable example of the relentless white racism that is happening to black people all the time, everywhere. That explains everything. I mean, that's it. Everybody's jumping on this thing. This lady at The Guardian over in England, a big newspaper in England, her name is Shireen Ahmed. She wrote a big column about it saying, oh my God, the cutting off of a teenage wrestler's hair was a familiar act of violence for black athletes. Oh, really? So so there's some, and in her article, she went on to talk about white racism directed at black people. The best thing example she came up with is, we didn't even get the details of it, but when she was 11, playing soccer, a little girl, somebody must have said something to her that she interpreted as being racist. And now she says it's happened again, 20 years later. Oh my God, it's a pattern. Oh yeah, but she found a professor at the University of Pennsylvania, and the professor did confirm that white people are always messing with black people's hair, and that's just a way of keeping them down. Okay, maybe my standards are too high around here, but when I see a international example of white racism keeping the fellas down, or racism of any kind keeping anybody down, I do like to see a little blood on occasion. But we don't. When we talk about white racism, all we do is somebody saying, yeah, well, you did something, and that's racist. Okay, whatever. But what about these 4 stories? What about all this black on white violence so wildly out of proportion? Now, I have to confess, researching this to find these videos, I don't know, I lost count at 4 or 5. I forget how many I have here. Researching these videos of black on white violence and hostility. It did take a grand total of about 90 seconds for each video. So I could have put, these are recent things in the news recently. I could have put 25, 30, 35, 50 more in there. Each one exposing the greatest lie of our generation. Let's get to it.
Right now, loved ones and police are asking for your help as they search for answers after a store clerk was murdered. WYFF News 4's John Lyon has more on a crime that stunned Easley.
Help find them. Help bring the 2 scumbags in that shot my mama last night over some change in a cash register.
A heartbroken son asking for help to find Stacy Childress's 2 killers.
She should be able to be there today to see her granddaughter, to be able to hold her and watch her grow up. There's no reason for this.
Easley police say 2 masked men entered BPAM's Food Mart about 8 last night with guns in hand, killing Stacy, who was in the store alone.
I think she got one of them. From looking at the Facebook footage, it looks like she may have gotten the shorter one in the leg, because it looks like she shot first from looking at it.
Look again at the men, both about 6 feet tall. Police say they escaped in a silver Subaru Forester.
I come in here all the time and buy stuff, and it's not right to kill somebody like that, an innocent person.
The killing shocked customers coming to the store today. Dalton Kirby also came back to the store today to haul away his mom's car.
She's got a granddaughter that's turning 1 the 21st, and we're having her birthday party today. And then January the 21st, she's supposed to have a little grandson, and she was supposed to be there for it.
She was just such a good person, and I miss her dearly.
Some breaking news right now. CMPD telling us they arrested a 17-year-old for a murder in East Charlotte. We reported that Jessica Smith was found shot to death in October off East Crest Drive. Now Yamina Ruckard has been arrested and charged with that murder. Right now, police have not released details on a motive.
A high schooler appeared in Clark County Court on a charge of murder after a deadly shooting in Hazeldale. And prosecutors say the teen drove the getaway car. Fox 12's Tyler Dumont is outside the courthouse with new information that we just learned about the case.
Terrence Busby is just 17 years old, but today a judge agreed to up the charge against him to first-degree murder in what prosecutors described as a planned, coordinated robbery gone wrong. Now, a judge would not allow our camera in the courtroom because the high schooler is a juvenile, but he is being prosecuted as an adult. Busby is accused of driving the black Mercedes used to get away from the shooting at a strip mall on Monday afternoon in Hazel Dell. It left 18-year-old Gage Kaiser dead. Newly released court documents reveal Gage was with his brother Skylar and two others when he was shot. Skylar Kaiser told detectives they had gone to the strip mall to sell marijuana to someone Gage talked to on social media. But when the buyer didn't pay and Gage tried to stop him, Gage was shot. Another witness parked nearby told detectives she saw it too, with a passenger coming up to Gage Kaiser with a gun that looked like a revolver before hearing gunshots and screaming. Another teen in Gage's car said the shooter then got into the Mercedes, which he believed was driven by someone named Terrence. A detective said they soon tracked down Terrence Busby and watched him dump the Mercedes at his family's house. The license plates on the car had been switched. The detective said Busby then went to his cousin's apartment, where he was later arrested. Investigators said family members at that apartment told them Busby had a history of drug robberies, and just days ago posted a photo on his Snapchat story showing a black revolver.
Well, they were made public through an open records request, and they were obtained by our partners at the Salt Lake Tribune. It's the first time that we've heard Lauren McCluskey's voice and her cries for help.
I've been blackmailed for money with threats of sending out.
That's the voice of Lauren McCluskey in a call she placed to Salt Lake City Police on October 13th. Police did not release the portion of the call where she describes how she's being blackmailed. A university timeline revealed she was being threatened by her ex-boyfriend with compromising photos.
Let me go ahead and get you over. University Police will probably take the case then.
I've talked to them already, but I just wanted to call you as well.
The university's timeline indicates McCluskey called University Police a day earlier to report receiving harassing messages.
I was just concerned because I wasn't sure how long they were going to take to...
Are you in line for an officer to call you?
Less than a week later, on October 19th, McCluskey called Salt Lake City Police again, this time more desperate for help.
Last Saturday I reported, and then and I haven't gotten an update.
The dispatcher asks if she contacted police at the U, and several times McCluskey expresses her frustration with their response.
They haven't updated or done anything. So the case, it involves extortion because I haven't gotten an update.
Yeah.
And it's been a week.
McCluskey is told to contact the detective at the university assigned to her case, and the call ends. Then, on October 22nd...
My name's Matt McCluskey. My daughter is Lauren McCluskey, and she went missing tonight.
Matt McCluskey, Lauren's father, places this call to Salt Lake Police.
She was abducted while we were talking to her on the telephone. So we heard her being assaulted, and they called the University of Utah campus police.
The terrified father manages to stay calm.
I'm just calling you to let you know that this just happened like an hour ago.
The dispatcher informs him that police are aware of the situation. Minutes later, Lauren's body was found. She was shot and killed by Melvin Rowland, a person she briefly dated.
72-year-old Walter Gautreaux and his 70-year-old wife Darlene were murdered, both well known from the Cajun Music Association, Mardi Gras, and church in Lacassine, Louisiana.
It's a small town. Everybody is either related or best friends. Everybody knows everybody. These are little small Cajun towns, and so, you know, they were just a part of the community. Everybody knew them. Everybody loved them.
It was the call Wendy Collins never expected to get here in Houston. Days before Christmas, Jeff Davis Parish Sheriff's Office says the two were robbed and shot inside their home, and they believe these two are responsible. 23-year-old Javari Guidry and 21-year-old Jordan Legros are considered armed and dangerous and could be in the Houston area where they have ties. Guidry was convicted in 2015 for an attempted murder in Lafayette. Legros is also wanted for a burglary and theft in Walsh.
They had some connection through associates. They were not directly associated with the victims, but they did have contact with people who were close to the victims.
Okay, so let's get the statues up. We'll have the statue of the kid, you know, in his wrestling garb. he'll have, maybe we should have, I don't know, maybe like half of his head shaved or at least cut. See, on one half have a regular haircut. The other half will look like Sideshow Bob from The Simpsons. Now he's a national hero. Everybody wants to be a leader, defending the black people from this relentless white racism. It's doing so much damage, but at the same time, you try to get somebody to pay attention to this black on white crime and violence so wildly out of proportion. I'm talking murder here.
Please, sir. I want some more.
And people just look at it and they say, well, Colin, A, that's not happening. B, white people do it too. Or C, white people deserve it. Or D, and there's also a D on these lately. The D is, Colin, you're a bad person for noticing. Well, I'll plead guilty to D. But even that makes the black kids angry.